Hi, I'm Alexa.
And I'm Riley.
And Colton.
And we had section 1, questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for question 1, it says, why is Daphne Major an ideal study site? And we agreed that Daphne Major is an ideal study site because it's isolated area. And since it's isolated, it's easy to know where the change occurs. There are species there that don't breed very easily, so it doesn't create a lot of new species. And it has harsh environmental conditions, which kind of fuels natural selection, and so it keeps the island isolated.
So I had question 2, which is why are Darwin's finches an ideal group of species to study? So the reason Darwin's finches were an ideal group to study is because there were many different species of finches, and they were all kind of in the same geographical location, which means that they had the same environmental conditions, but they were all separated by separate islands. So each island had their own unique species of finch. And what helped is that that species was unique to that island and was isolated on that island and could not go to the other islands. But like I said, all those islands are in the same geographical area with the same conditions. So it helped Darwin to be able to use this group to really study evolution of a similar species and how it could go in different ways.
Number 3 was, what were Darwin's first impressions of the Galapagos finches? It wasn't really much. Darwin wasn't super interested in them at first, and he didn't really record much about them. He was more interested in the iguanas at that time, but he did note that they weren't afraid of humans, and he noted that Mr. King killed one with a hat in his journal. So he wasn't super impressed at first. It wasn't until later that they learned what the finches did back in England. But that led to question 4, which was, why did Darwin raise pigeons and spend so much time talking about them in the origin of species? And later they realized the variation in the finches, and Darwin started to develop this hypothesis of natural selection causing that variation. And he knew that the Galapagos finches wouldn't stand alone, and so he was pretty smart in selecting pigeons, and he knew that there was a variety of pigeons, and so he wanted to experiment with them to be able to support that the idea that natural selection can cause this variation, so that he could have a concrete example other scientists could prove again and again, and which was really helpful for him in the end, because it did provide that evidence to support the finches and natural selection. So, yeah.